And welcome back to part 12 of What If Minato Survived. Now, quick classicling, people did remind me, and I forgot. When you start getting into the double digits in terms of how many parts you do a What If, and you start doing so much, you might tend to slip up a little bit now and then. I did forget Saratobi I had sacrificed himself. But honestly, I like the setup I made so well. I am going to retcon. Every once in a while, I'll retcon something if I feel it can serve the story a bit more. Here's one of those scenarios where, yeah, Saratobi's still alive. And honestly, you could just say they used the clone for the Reaper Death Seal. All's good, all's well as ends well. Because we saw him do that. We saw Saratobi do that against Orochimaru to seal the first and the second. And then those clones just pooped, but that still happened. So that can still work here. So we left off with Minato, Jiraiya, and Saratobi all going to chase down Orochimaru. Because A, he basically arranged the attack on the Leaf. And B, they know he has a Sharingan now. This is bad. So now, luckily from Tayuya, they were able to get enough information to get the general location. Plus, we know Minato actually is a bit of a sensor. Not like a Karin level, but he's actually a sensor, a pretty solid one too. Added on with the tracking capabilities of the Toads, they are able to start to pinpoint the general location. Meanwhile, Kabuto is able to make it back to the base, inform Lord Orochimaru what happened. It's like all went to plan, all went as it should be. We still weaken the leaf and the sand by a relative amount, Kabuto. What about the Sound Four? Their lives mean nothing at this point. They were all expendable. Which, keep in mind, Dosu's still alive. So, in fact, Dosu, Kin, and Zaku are technically still alive. Because there was no Edo Tensei he used here. So they're still, they're still in the Leaf. They're probably in holding cells. Because I didn't figure out what I was going to do with them past the point they were still alive. I'm just like, did they go back to the Sound? Are they in the Leaf? But I figured I'm going to say they're in the Leaf. And I was like, well, what of everything else? I was like, the fourth was able to undo the Genjutsu you put on the Raikage before you were, or the Kazekage, before he was able to do any last thing. Damn it. That is a bit disappointing, to say the least. And where are the others? And to which Kabuto doesn't say anything, because he knows Orochimaru knows. Orochimaru was using, most likely, a snake for observation purposes to see what was going on. So he knows. Point is, you tell him. So he kind of throws at Orochimaru's face, like, you're telling me you weren't observing, Lord Orochimaru? Perhaps I was, perhaps I wasn't. But I'd like to hear it from you, Kabuto. Unfortunately, the Sound Four were quickly dispatched before any of them could make it out of the village. I see how unfortunate. But they were a resourceful group, to say the least, and quite useful. Still, we'll make do. There's always more to acquire. And, Orochimaru's just, like, licking his chops, and Kabuto's like, expendable they're always expendable, every one of them. Eventually, the Leaf Trio reach Orochimaru's base. And, they're waiting outside. What does it look like? Anyone in there? To which Minato actually does go into Sage Mode, which we know that he had access to, but died before he really was able to master it. Here, I guarantee you, he has mastered Sage Mode within 10 years. No problem whatsoever. I'd actually go so far as to say that with Minato there and mastering it, Jiraiya might have been persuaded to master it as well. So him and Jiraiya both go into Sage Mode. And they sense the location. They sense, where they're able to pinpoint where individuals are. They can find where Orochimaru and Kabuto are effectively. Saratobi is getting ready with his own techniques, preparing, and they just Minato basically says, "All right, on my mark," and he's got some kunai ready, and he basically what I can see going on here is he basically just fires the kunai, or throws the kunai, multi-shadow clone shuriken jutsus them. And all of a sudden, it's something I always like. Not Minato flashing, but something I like the concept of, which you would think someone would have done, is putting explosive tags on these things and making them basically just do a hailing explosion of shrapnel and fire. Because it just rain, attackers rain down on the base, and Orochimaru and Kabuto hear the rumble. It seems we have visitors, Kabuto. How is that possible? Are you sure? I'm sure no one was taken alive. And I was positive. I saw him bring down the entire Sound Forward in an instant. Did you see him? Did he kill them or just knock them out? I saw the blood and everything from all of them. And yes, the thing is, like, and Kabuto really has to think on that. Was it possible one man? And then he stops and realizes he never saw blood come from Tayuya. He just thought he broke her neck because he saw all the blood everywhere else. Like, Tayuya. So they found the location. I was not looking forward to confronting Minato boy so quickly, but it seems our paths will have to cross eventually. And so they make it into the base. They're both splitting up. Or they're all three of them are splitting up using clones to kind of track the location of everything in the base. Eventually, well, they don't even really need to do that, but they're doing it just to be safe and handle the help. And because they have Sage Mode, they can basically track them immediately to where they need to go. And so they do. And eventually Orochimaru just standing there waiting. Oh, Minato, it's so good to see you again. Yeah, but Jiraiya and Sarutobi Sensei, my, such a day for reunions. It's over, Orochimaru. We have come. I let you live years ago. That is my burden and my mistake. But it's not just he's not just your burden, old man. He's all of our burdens. For the threats he's posed to leave, even after leaving. So amusing. You really think I care about your village that much? I saw the Ross's eyes. The Sharingan. Stop messing around. Stop playing coy. And Orochimaru's like, you really are too sharp for your own good, Minato. And then he just throws his eyes and a fully realized Sharingan's in there. I can imagine it looks different, though. Like, maybe it's got more like an orange hue because of his yellow mixing with the red. And the pupil in the middle still is shrinks, but it's still a snake's eye. To think I have all the potential of the world at my fingertips. Because that's really why you want the Sharingan. Because with the Sharingan, you can learn, minus Kekkei Genkai, which you would still probably be stealing bodies for, you can learn anything. Everything would be at your disposal. And eventually, and trust me, eventually I'll learn how to unlock its full potential. Now, you'd think they might not know about that, because does anyone in the village even have a Mangekyo at this point? I mean, Shusui we know is dead. We do know Shusui's dead because of the Danzo issue. Now, that might not get brought up, because it's not. I don't even think Shisui even told Itachi what happened. All he just said was his eye was taken from him. He doesn't know who, where, or what. But because he might have just been ambushed by Root, and it's not known how that happened. Now, we know that that's not quite the case, and we know that Minato has Danzo on warning, on call, basically. But I like to play it up that we're not actually sure in this case what happened. Okay, we know what happened. They're not sure. Now, does that mean retcon some stuff for the story purposes? Maybe a little bit. But I think it plays a little bit more into the story here. Itachi, though, having lost his friend, his best friend, and having lost his eye, who's lost his eye, probably given it to Itachi for safekeeping. I think he does have his Mangekyo. And we know, at least from the anime, that Fukasu had a Mangekyo as well. Unfortunately, does anyone have an Eternal at this point? I don't think so, but there is room to allow us to do that with some characters right now. But so far, it's only Fukasu and Itachi. So there is Itachi has probably made them aware of what the Mangekyo is, and therefore Itachi basically even says, like, you're out talking about the Mangekyo. So you know of it, don't you? The pinnacle of the eye's evolution. Now, at that point, they're keeping it hush. But it's like, oh yeah, no, we know about the Mangekyo. We also know about its upgraded form too, which we're not going to let you know about because I don't know. Because you call it the pinnacle. It's clear he doesn't know about the Eternal right now because you need to know about those things too. You need the eyes to read the stone tablet in the Ichia's place and all that. And once you get upgraded eyes, you're able to read more and more, so forth and so forth. But all of a sudden, the sword just comes out and says, "But enough talking, Sarada Sensei, idiot, Minato." And I think he would call him. I really think he'd at least call him Minato. I think he hates the fourth for taking the spot, but he does still have respect for him because he is the Yellow Flash. And you both have your Sage Mode activated, but for how long have you had it activated now? It will probably be running out in due time. All I have to do is wait to get the perfect strike on you. Until then. And then he just, his eyes swirl and they clash. He summons a couple clones to duke it out with him too, and now they're clashing. Sarutobi's already summoned Enma, this guy's longbow. Jiraiya's probably using his bracers. Jiraiya, as far as we know, has never used weapons beyond kunai. Minato, we know, uses his specialized kunai. He's probably, channeling chakra through there. And now it's a brawl. And unfortunately, because of that damn Sharingan, Orochimaru, when you have someone Orochimaru's level with a Sharingan, his reflexes are top-notch already. So he's now able to dodge nearly everything because he can predict and do everything and predict nearly everything and react to nearly everything. The only thing he can't react to, as he quickly sees Minato's special kunai, is Minato's Yellow Flash. He does get cut by Minato, but he's quickly able to just rebound and recover. Even the Sharingan's not infallible. I can't overtake that blasted flying thunder god of yours. Now, Orochimaru isn't stupid. If he knows he can't win a fight, he's going to try to neg out of there. Or piece out of there, I guess. Not neg. Neg is negate. But at the same time, with Sarutobi there, Jiraiya, I think his personal emotions, his personal feelings in the matter, might force him to make some choices that we don't like. And he's already had Kabuto basically get Suigetsu and Kimimaro out of there. So, he just he basically elongates the sword and just drags along. Striking Shadow Snake! And, he's firing off jutsu after jutsu. Minato's able to dodge. Unfortunately, his Sage Mode runs out. It's like, I have you now, Minato. But Jiraiya just, boom! He's like, no, not me. You don't have me. And not yet, you don't. He just grabs the sword while he's still in Sage Mode. He went Sage Mode not as soon as Minato did it, but a few moments after, so he's able to hold it for longer, just a bit longer, and just throws Roach around. Is that the best you can do? It's like, Dragon Fire Style, Dragon Bomb Jutsu! And then, he Sarutobi fires the Fire Blast. And now Orochimaru's kind of getting pissed off a little bit. It's like, it's 3-on-1. And it's like, well, these odds don't seem very fair, do they? And all of a sudden, two doors open, and he's got two people there. He's like, you really think they're going to be able to take us on? No, not them. And all of a sudden, Edo Tensei. I was like, no. I was like, no. And all of a sudden, the coffins appear. And sure enough, there walks out. And Minato's like, are those who I think they are? You inhuman monster, Orochimaru. It's like, damn it all. And they both go back in the Sage Mode. They're able to. And Hashirama and Tobirama are there. Now then, why don't we make this a more interesting fight? And they clash again. Meanwhile, the village, the sound 3, 4 still, because you got Taiyu there, are basically being holding cells and just talking it over. And it's like, why did we ever join up with him? He gave us purpose. He gave us life. You shut up, you idiots. And it's like, he gave us what? He's leaving us here to rot. I said, shut up. It's like, and Twitch, I was like, you really should listen. Maybe you should actually take your friend's advice. It might help you. To which there is Itachi, of all people, and Kakashi. And they're just standing there, just kind of like marveling. It's like, why do you have such a bad attitude? Why do you have such an ugly face? She's like she probably, even though she doesn't think she's not a girly girl, she can acknowledge when someone's handsome, I'm sure. And Itachi is widely considered pretty good looking. So she doesn't, and she's not acknowledging, but she just throws it in his face. To which he finally just uses his Sharingan and uses Sukeyome. And you might be thinking this is a weird time to use that, but Sukeyome is a perfect illusion and like can torture, but he's torturing her in a different way. He's using it just for pure information gathering. And it's like, so why? What did he do? Save you from what? Torture? Torture? We don't know his actual background. And right now, it looks like it's a second, and after it's all said and done, she just collapses, crying, just, ah! Second Dust was like, what did you do to her? It's like, and his eyes are kind of are strained a little bit, but he's fine. He starts coughing a little bit. So, you're all right, Itachi? Yes, it's nothing serious. And they're like, what did he do? Oh, what did you do to her? It's like, I just showed her truth. It's like, and she's just crying there. It's like, you're in an odd scenario here, kids. At one point, you are aided and abetting to the overthrowing of a village, and in ties with a known Ronin and the powerful one, Orochimaru. On the other hand, as far as we can tell, you had no idea what his true potential was, nor did you actually were you actually collaborators, theoretically, in the actual coup itself. You were more like pawns, which Keen and Zaku kind of resent that. Dosu, though, acknowledges, yeah, that's what happened. And it's like, where, I guess the question is, if let out, what would you do next? Food for thought. Have a good night. Meanwhile, the entire base has exploded as the first deep forest emergence has taken effect. And they're strong as and Tobirama's using water release, and they are strong as something fierce. He's using his flying thunder god against Minato's. Minato's is the superior, that is said, so he's able to put him down. And Jiraiya using 5-pronged steel is able to at least keep the second down. Unfortunately, Orochimaru comes in and does stab him with the grass longsword. Just got you, and cuts and nearly tries to pull up and take his arm off. Fortunately, though, Jiraiya's still in sage mode, just like, it's like, you're not going anywhere. I can't. And he realizes he can't use the Genjutsu with Mom and Pa because of the damn Sharingan, but he does have him by the sword. It's like, and all of a sudden, Ninja Nido Jizo, and wraps around Orochimaru. Orochimaru is able to break out, but now he's kind of pin-cushioned a bit. All of a sudden, Sage Mode Great Baller Sengon comes in, just tries to carve through everything, and just take Orochimaru down. It's like, Rashomon! But I think Jiraiya can get through a Rashomon, of all things. Finally, it just comes down to Sarutobi. We're not going to be able to beat all three of them, and let alone him. Minato, let me do what I must. Sarutobi, what are you saying? It's like, years ago, I saved you from making a terrible mistake, and it gave you the life you have with your son and village. Orochimaru, I've said before, Orochimaru is my burden, and let me rectify that burden. And so, then Tobirama uses Tobirama's on the ground at the moment, fortunately, and then finally, the first comes in, Sarutobi grabs him though. It's like Reaper Death, Reaper Death seal, and just he's the clone again, seals away Hashirama this time permanently, or makes the two clones, seals Hashirama and Tobirama. They go easy, and this time him and Enma basically go in and to basically put Orochimaru down for good. And just as Orochimaru's about to get away, Minato just reappears behind him and uses again the advanced version of the technique he used against Obito, the lightning armor, if you will, and just shocks him enough before he's like, you're Orochimaru, you're a fool, and damn it all, how could that? And again, he just curses Minato for that blasted Thunder God technique, because he didn't see he forgot there was a kunai right behind him. He wasn't paying attention to that, and Minato just appeared, shocked him enough that he would stay still, and Sarutobi's got him like, your ambition ends here. This isn't over, you fools! Nothing can stop my ambition! And he's pulling out Orochimaru's entire sword. Now, Orochimaru tries to bring the grass longsword there, but Minato, And Jiraiya is like bleeding, like, ugh. And his Sage Mode's end at this point, and he's injured. It's like, no, Sarutobi or Sensei, but Minato's just, yeah, it's like, that's not happening, Orochimaru. No. God. Now, would he have actually been able to pull out Orochimaru's entire soul, even without being injured? Because we know he couldn't. He took his arms. But we do see him pulling out a lot more of Orochimaru's soul. Prior, I get the impression he still wanted him. Orochimaru was still younger. He was still in better shape. He was still in better condition. But that doesn't mean he wouldn't have pulled out more. In fact, it looked like he was going to pull out his arms and his head and his upper torso, which would have effectively killed the man. Because, yeah, he would still, his legs and lower half still would have been living, but it wouldn't have mattered if your soul and your mind is gone. Yes, in theory, through DNA, like the curse mark and stuff like that, we see he could have been brought back. But the thing is here is like, Jiraiya just, and Rose like, you will not take my... To which Jiraiya finally puts his hand on Sarutobi's shoulders, like, you're low on chakra, old man. You won't be able to do it without me. Jiraiya! It's like Sensei. It's like we said, Minato. He's our responsibility, not yours. Like every time Minato's basically said, yeah, he's been threatening the village and stuff like that. So he is my responsibility. They keep coming back, like, in the sense that you're Hokage, but ultimately no. This is our mess. We are going to fix it. And finally, Jiraiya basically goes into standstill, goes into Sage Mode, and basically helps channel this through, now, using his chakra to help aid him, channels it through Sarutobi. Now, this, in theory, could kill Sarutobi, but Sarutobi's going to be dead anyway. So, because they're joined, I actually see it like, because they're joined, I could see it like this. He might ask Jiraiya, or Jiraiya might ask him, it's like, do you need me to use Sage Mode? It will kill me. I haven't mastered like you have. It'll kill me before I ever seal him. But you're connected with him, aren't you? It's by their souls. They are joined. Their souls are connected at that point. And he was trying to pull his souls out. In fact, let me just be sure about that before I actually make the point I'm about to make. Reaper Death Seal. Okay. Dead Demon Consuming Seal or Reaper Death Seal. After activating Hands and Perform, the user's soul is partially separated from their body and suspended behind them. Their soul appears at the Shinigami, which restrains their soul with its hair. Only the summoner is able to see the Shinigami at this point. After a few moments, the Shinigami wraps his left arm with a prayer bead and chants the unintelligible until, God, freaking, I hate these ads. Until a curse seal appears on its arm. It then drives down into the summoner's soul and thus allowing the summoner to call upon the Shinigami to seal a target. Shinigami's arm emerges from the summoner's body. Body to grasp the target's soul. When Aaron performs it, he's required to get close to the target and already initiate it. Targets are able to see the Shinigami is connected to their souls. As far as I can tell, I mean, to some degree, yeah, they're connected. I mean, that doesn't flat out say it, so I might be making this up for my own. I might be doing a little bit of my own fanning in here, but I think through the way to talk, because he has your soul and he reached out for the other person's soul. I'm guessing your souls, because your souls are kind of sealed together. While targets are unable to escape, someone can remove the seal and seal their own soul. He was able to seal multiple souls by using the technique in conjunction with Sakura. The sealing, however, is not necessarily necessary to complete or automatic. When Minato uses it, the seal, when he uses it, to rely on his own physical strength to sack Orochimaru's soul. Because of his lack of strength to fully remove it, he opted instead, target's soul is sealed in the body of the summoner, represented by a swirl pattern. Summoner can, from what I can tell, it does seem like there's like a tether between the two of them. And because that spiritual and chakra works in that same way, Jiraiya says, I get what you're saying, old man. You sure you want to go that route? That is my... are you sure you want to go that route, old man? May I be honored for all my time. He just has a smile on him. He's like, you got you, bitch. He's like, what are you planning? And Jiraiya goes into Sage Mode. It's like, what are you... You're channeling... And in Orochimaru's Sharingan's activated. It's like, you're channeling chakra into Sarutobi. That will kill him. It's like, what do you plan? Wait. And he just sees this. And he realizes because their souls are connected, the chakra goes into the Reaper's soul, Reaper's arm, who probably won't turn to stone, and it connects to Orochimaru, who, while we know can on some level use natural chakra, is not a master of it and doesn't have a sage mode himself. He starts to, no, you bastard, no, seal my soul, don't, you, this isn't over, I'll get out of this, you'll see it. Farewell, my students. And so, what was the third's line? Because I love it. That's a great line to go out. It's so poetic and beautiful, that line he used. Let's see, quotes. Where is his quote? Ooh, quote. No, that's trivia. Quotes. To the academy, to Orochimaru, to be Konoha. Nope. Last words. Yep. And so he's just turning the stone, and he has a smile on his face, and he just finally just stands there as Orochimaru's just looking scared shitless, and just like, no. Farewell, my disciple. May we meet again in the next life. And he just looks at Jiraiya, and he looks at Minato, who's also stunned by this, but now looking at him solemnly, just like, it's just saying thank you for everything, Lord Third. When the tree, and then just thinks of when the tree, and as the stone just starts to creep up more and more. And now, granted, he was also turning into a frog at that time, so keep in mind. So kind of turning into frogs and turning into stone. So, but and he's just accepting it with some grace. When the tree leaves dance, one shall find flames, and the fire shadow will illuminate the village, and once again the tree leaves shall but anew. And so he just stands there, somewhat frogified, but ultimately standing there as a defiant statue. And Orochimaru's just standing there, just as a horrified, like, ah! And, Kabuto has been looking at this the whole time. He's like, Orochimaru. And he has to get the hell out of there with Kimimaro and Suigetsu in tow, using probably like a reverse summoning or whatever to head to the next location where Karin would be. Because while they probably do travel there probably are emergency ways to get there as well. And we know Kabuto did ultimately get the snake summoning on him as well. So, and there you have, they seal the Orochimaru statue and the Sarutobi statue, and they just, they say their silent peace. They get Jiraiya back to the village for healing. And that is the end of part 12. What will parts 13, 14, 15, and on look like? And now that Orochimaru's out of the picture, but Akatsuki's still around? Find out next time. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one. Have a good